We're gonna talk about corporate politics.
Corporate politics, I mean, it's very important. Like, they don't teach you how to navigate in the corporate world. And I'm not talking about politics, talking about like Donald Trump or the next senator or what your views are on Black Lives Matter. I'm not talking about that type of politics. I'm talking about the politics that are played in the workplace. So, for instance, if you know someone that's a stakeholder and they have a lot of influence, and that person has some type of influence on your raise, your um, um, when you're trying to, what's the word?
Promotion.
Yeah, a promotion, and you're talking things, saying negative things about them, or somebody else is having some type of you know outside conversation. I would just refrain from having any conversations about any stakeholders that are influential in your life. I definitely would just listen, pick up game, understand the corporate culture, and say less. So just listen, and I wouldn't typically agree with anyone unless they have the same views as you, but really just kind of play in the middle. And another thing is when other people see you in a space where you're winning, like in my profession, someone might see you winning contracts and you start showing up with, new items. They don't want to see you win in a space. So they try to block you from getting contracts or, being a part of boards and things like that. So you kind of have to fly under the radar. You have to play those politics to where you're not intimidating anyone else. And it's kind of a weird balance, but it's a real thing.
I mean, I think from my experience, it just boils down to this. I mean, people like really positive people, so they want a really positive environment. So you know, when you're going to work, you should probably refrain from saying anything bad about somebody. You should probably refrain from complaining about your job all the time. That'll get you a lot further. Because at the end of the day, people want to work with positive people, and people want to know that, hey, if they put a level of workload on you, that you'll gladly take it. So if you have any aspirations of moving up in the company, I mean, the best thing you can do is be positive. And also, it also takes being able to connect with leadership, finding things that you have in common, identifying with them, because leadership is like people like you are, right? So, they like to tell people about their kids and show them family photos and stuff, and you should genuinely care about that. And those are the type of things that go on with corporate politics. People tend to want to do business with people that they like.
That's true, man. I mean, think about it from the aspect of you're at a golf course and someone's invited you out. Clearly, they're inviting you for a reason, and you're hitting these golf balls, and conversations come up about one time you guys were drinking or doing something, and somebody else's name comes up in the conversation. These things happen. You're smoking a cigar, and maybe you're drinking a little bit,
Yeah.
and they're asking you questions about someone, and you should always have a positive review on that person that they're talking about. You never want to showcase any hard feelings towards anyone, even if you feel that that person has done something to you or to your brand, or they're not doing a great job out there in the job market. Because there are some companies that have a reputation for a certain thing, and everybody knows it. So from you don't have to come out and say it. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to come from you. If they're asking you about it, it's because either they have a similar view, or that's what the word around town is. So just have a positive review about that person or that company, and keep it moving. Say less.
I think that's the the moral of the story, right? Say less. You want to keep things professional. You want to remain professional at all times. You know, you also want to be engaging, upbeat, because those are the things that are going to help you moving forward in the corporate culture, right? Because that's what it's about, right? A company wants to have a culture, and as you see right now, companies, corporations, they pride themselves on culture. And if you don't fit that culture, then they may decide that that job isn't for you, and they'll get somebody in there who does have that, who does fit that culture, regardless of performance.
That's right. So a few tools that you could use. You can just create a spreadsheet, man. I mean, if it doesn't come natural to you, create a spreadsheet, identify all the stakeholders that are influential in your space. Write it down. Have a matrix of the type of requirements that they have, what their morale is, what they tend to do. Are they messy? Do they like to talk about people? Seriously, write this stuff down. It's a science, and that'll help you navigate and know how to communicate with that individual so you can either get a promotion, move up, get a raise, or just have a peace of mind, man.
And we talked about this before, I think, in a previous video, but we're talking about personal brand, right? So that's important, and it depends on what field you're in, because I think you said something about, maybe if you pull up in a different kind of car, that might offend some people that you work with in certain industries.
Right.
But then in other industries, like let's say a real estate agent, and you're selling houses in Malibu, the expectation might be that you have a nice car.
Exactly.
That you have a nice suit.
Right. But if you go and you sell houses in an impoverished area, pulling up in a Range or some type of Tesla or whatever, that might come across as, being bougie or having more than them, not understanding the environment. Maybe you're trying to take advantage. Maybe you don't need this. So you kind of have to camouflage with where you are, understand what's going on, and identify the culture, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's just important to be able to read a room.
Exactly. Read a room. As simple as that. Definitely don't say anything that's going to get you in trouble or do anything or showcase who you really are.
But I'm really a good person. What do you mean?
Well, yeah. Well, you could be a good person, but I think giving more information, you just don't know how good of a person that person is. Like, you could say something about what you did over the weekend, and it could have been wholesome, and then the other person might view you as, I don't know, lame, or you just never know. Just keep it work friendly, above board as much as you can, and understand where that person's coming from. It's really hard to gauge, but like I said, come up with a spreadsheet, understand what's going on, identify the key stakeholders, and you should be fine.
Yeah, man. And again, just work on your personal brand at your company. What do you want to brand yourself as?
Right.
The hard worker, the life of the party, or the life of the office. I mean, all those things can be positives. Find your strengths, hone in on those strengths, and sell everybody on what you're able to do. I mean, because I think we can agree on this, though, right? What you don't want to do is be fake, right? Because nobody likes anybody that's fake.
Correct. You don't want to be fake. But at the same time, don't give too much information. Like, for instance, if you know in your family somewhere you guys have a large property, or you guys have a fleet of Ferraris somehow, and you come to work and you're talking about, oh yeah, we just pulled out the Ferrari. People are going to look at you differently. They're going to say, why do you work here? Or what do you need this job for? They're going to say, I'd rather give this promotion to someone else. You don't need it. You have Ferraris. I mean, it's a thing. It's a thing. People will take money out of your mouth because of what you already have. And it's, unless somebody inherited something, it'd be different.
That's deep, man. Like,
I mean, it's a thing, man. Like, if you know you have something at the crib, just don't disclose anything. If it's not above average, I wouldn't disclose anything, especially in a place where they expect you to have the norm or the average situation. Period.
That makes sense, man.
That's it.
Talking about